some cheese, please?
Tasty beat, make we get on real bad with the tasty cheese, boy.
Tasty cheese.
What's your story? What's your sign? We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our way. We come alive.
Has begun, I've traveled the seas, I've traveled the waters. Once I was weak, now I'm much stronger. I've worked in the sun, look what I've become. I've conquered the beast, now I'm much greater. I've learned from a failure. Dedication, discipline and drive. Seizing every moment that comes up in this life.
Bollywood has never been this good. Catch Made for Each Other weekdays 1 p.m. on your drama station CVM. Brought to you by
on the next Royal Palm Estate.
I don't understand you. You say you have something to give me, you go feel. When you bring it from now, you push it down in your bosom.
I changed my mind.
You know when you call people name in this country? It's dangerous.
People like who?
Politicians.
Politicians?
What do you have in mind? Sleeping dogs tell no lies. What kind of oxymoron is that, man? What we have to ensure is that we put the superintendent faster to rest.
You're holding him in connection with Daddy's disappearance.
I can't believe what you're telling me.
What you doing here?
Pleased to meet you. I'm Julia Blackburn. Mrs. Julia Blackburn. Oh, what did you say your name was again?
Oh no, Ted, no! Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure. Keep up with the Blackburns. This Tuesday at 9 p.m. Brought to you by MIB Insure.
Switch to MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
I said this one dedicated to you. 11 and 11 data, 22. Many are called, but the chosen are few. Them say you mustn't bite where you know you can chew. A Peter Methodist endorsing the reggae mount. You hear?
If you love reggae music, over the head, and say,
What's your story? What's your sign? We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive.
Welcome back, and we now take you back out onto the streets with our reporter Andrew Lately, who is live at the PNP Headquarters in Belmont Road. Andrew. Andrew, are you with us?
As you can see, I am standing on location here at the PNP HQ. When you had joined me earlier, behind me was a little bit scarce and it was a little bit scanty, and I had mentioned to you that it was a tense atmosphere. Now, as you can see, it's a sea of orange that's behind me, and that's because things are starting to pick up. Momentum is starting to build, and we can hear the cheers happening behind me. Jesse Clark came in with his supporters, and you know, it was pandemonium here at 89 Old Hope Road in Kingston. I'm continuing to monitor the vibe and the emotions here as the results come in, and I will continue to furnish you with the information that, you know, our viewers are hoping that they can get from us continuously. So until then, I'm Andrew Lately reporting from PNP HQ on the ground.
And we're setting up to take you over to the JLP, but for now it is over to Nika at the main desk.
Thank you, Stephen. Now, I know that you've been getting all the data from sources outside and elsewhere at points where sometimes it's a little controversial. But from what we can see from the data we're getting from EOJ, even though it might be sparse at times, what can we make of what's happening as the hours go by? We are, what, over 3 hours away from the closing of polls.
You know, I want to say that the expectation of the election being close, I want to give credit to the pollsters, that the pollsters have done well. And it is sad, I have to say this because I'm an economist, I believe in numbers, that people have started to cast doubt on polls and pollsters. The pollsters have done well because the numbers are reflecting what the polls have been saying. Now, of course, we've seen some turns as it relates to some upsets in the elections. That's also to be expected because we know PNP has been campaigning for this. Jamaica Labour Party started to campaign for it as well, and that is what we're seeing. The numbers are coming in. I even heard that the racecourse division is now turned to the PNP. We're waiting to see those numbers come in as well. Yes. So even in Clarendon and Manchester, we still have to watch because there's also an anticipation that there may be some upsets in Manchester, in Belfield and other places where the Jamaica Labour Party might just win. So those things are things. So I think there are upsets on both sides, which makes us question who will really take the municipalities away at the end of tonight.
And also, what message is it sending? Because, you know, coming out of the discussions with the polls is that this is actually a mandate. Yes, and it is signaling for the national. So I think we should also be mindful of the message that is being
Which is
sent.
why we would love to get, I don't know if we can get it
just
through
got
the
some
EOJ.
information from Westmoreland, which we are really hoping that we could capture on screen again for our audience and our panelists, because that data was showing us that closely watched seat in Grange Hill.
Yes.
We had a PNP councillor switching sides, going over to the Jamaica Labour Party. So we really want to, if we could just get the producers to bring that back. There you have it. Warren Andrew Littleton of the PNP. We have 2 of 22 boxes. That's
just early days.
Very early days. Early days.
You know,
But, you know, I really want to hear what's
about
happening.
the independent?
That is, I'm not sure how that is being captured in the data just yet.
Maybe they haven't gotten any vote just yet. Yeah.
That would be purely an academic exercise to talk about the independence. I don't think we're going to.
And we're not delving into academia right now.
What I'm curious to, I don't know if, is it Tanika or do you have any idea yet what is the popular vote in terms of the overall figures there?
Yes, I have that data. The last information we got says that the People's National Party is leading by 6,000 votes. So I hope that we can continue that momentum until the final boxes are counted.
That's pretty close because when you look at it, it's a 51% to 48%, which shows that they have somewhat a 3% lead.
In fact,
and that says that the polls...
indicated by in 2016, the margin of difference in the popular vote was 30,000. The Jamaica Labour Party gained 30,000 more votes than the People's National Party in 2016.
So at 6,000, it it is safe to say it is early days and we have some things to look out for. But as we, again, with the numbers, as we go in, it is interesting to see, as Sandra made mention, the votes that are handed over to the PNP, the divisions, versus the JLP, but we want to see the trend. Is it a case where some of these divisions were, you know, originally PNP divisions, and for some reason they changed. Again, and it goes back to organization of any political party. You may not want to get nervous because it was never yours to keep in the first place, and you may have to be pulling from other places. So if you make mention of, for example, Damian Crawford's
Northwest St. Catherine.
And saying it's a clean sweep for the PNP and everybody gets excited. No, it has always been. So let us see where some of the anomalies, and for me, the anomalies, Brandon Hill, Raytown, the Papine division. Again, remember I did say the Trafalgar division for me wasn't an anomaly. It wasn't an anomaly. So we're looking at Brandon Hill, Raytown, over by Westmoreland. It's interesting to see what will happen
in
there.
Westmoreland,
You know, and what that will, and of course, Central Manchester. Central Manchester is a place to watch.
Royal Flats.
Royal Flats.
Keep watching there and Belfield.
You were asking for the Belfield.
23 trying to
so the panel is asking for the Belfield.
What is important to note is that we leave nothing up to chances, and while we celebrate divisions 1 that traditionally have been won by the People's National Party, is that if we were to take 2020 as an example, we would think that the PNP would have won the West and would have won in so many constituencies but the Jamaica Labour Party won. So I don't think it is illegitimate if I celebrate traditional divisions that have been won by the PNP tonight.
So I have some news. I have some news in Christiana, Manchester.
Yes.
Christiana, Manchester, the People's National Party would have won that division. 54%. They would have won that with 1,869 votes to 1,569.
But only 54%. 54%.
54%.
Again, is where the counts are coming from.
Yes. But this is closed. It's 38 of 38 boxes.
Oh, okay. But you know, can I just jump in here? Because
and then I'd like to hear from you.
Point, we have been focusing on the party. And I had a theory which I had introduced that, look, it's local government, it's issues, but I see us still going back to the party. So I'm really wondering if there's any way that we can dissect, disaggregate, and look at some of the candidates and the issues within the context of the party, for argument's sake, or even within the context of the party and the message that they put out through their manifestos. I would really want us to get a little more granular.
The question is, did Jamaicans really have too much of an opportunity to ruminate the data, the details, the content of said manifestos?
Because I know we did not get a chance to. But my concern, though, is, okay, these candidates, are we saying, and should we just close off that argument, that, look, here in Jamaica, you know, anybody, once you are of your political persuasion, you go into an area that is of that persuasion, you are going to win. It's not about issues. Should we close that door now?
I don't think you can necessarily close the door, but the truth is, by virtue of looking at what has happened over the years, even individual candidates, because you do have some very good members of parliament, some very good councillors, but dependent on what's happening in terms of the swing, against the political party, those candidates may end up being victims of that swing. So I think if it is that, especially in a local government election, persons cannot vote on the basis of who the candidate is and what the candidate has done or is going to do, then I think we have some work to do there.
Exactly.
But I think structurally, our electoral system is flawed. Because and it pans itself out here, because I, for one, feel very strongly that we should be looking at proportional representation, because that is where good candidates could survive as against where they are subject to the whole question of you know, It's very unfortunate because some very good candidates lose, not because they're not good candidates, but because they are in the wrong. I wouldn't say wrong party, but the wrong
Tanya was saying where Bernard was concerned. Good candidate, wrong division, right? Or whatever the case may be.
So I just want to introduce a bit of information I'm getting out of Portland. My reporter is correcting me that, in fact, in Port Antonio Square, from the PNP side, only seat has been confirmed, and that's Roland. Actually, that information just coming in, and she says that it's expected the celebration is taking place on the PNP's end in Port Antonio. And also, as for the JLP supporters, they are more subtle, a bit quiet there as well, but it's still early days yet, she's mentioning. So she says the PNP council for the Prospect Division has been re-elected, and he's now joined the crowd. So a lot of information.
Prospect has always been a strong PNP.
But I think just in terms of just looking at what we're saying about candidates as against party, if you look at Portmore, and how...
I'll take this final thought really quickly because we're going to the break.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
It's not you,
something, you know. That's how you're going to
Push, never mind.
So all right. So thank you for allowing me. We will take a quick break here on CVM TV. We come back with the discussion on Decision Day 2024. Join us right after this.
Welcome to the Ezy Lottery draw for 8:20 p.m. Monday, February 26th, 2024. The one-drop winning number is 13. The hat-trick winning numbers are 9, 7, 1. The four-play winning numbers are 9, 3, 9, 9. The Lucky Day Lotto winning numbers are 1, 14, 2, 16, 5. The fireball is white. Thank you for playing with Ezy.
Bless you, bless every breath that you take, yeah. Bless every move that you make so intelligently. And don't forget this month is Reggae Month, yeah. We're inviting you all to come out and support the Reggae Month, all right? And to all the good people who make it happen, enough blessings.
If you love reggae music, come on in, everybody say, are you ready?
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure.
All that having a baby now is going to do for you is make you a prisoner of this apartment.
Long run shot, kid.
Royal Palm Estate is on CVM every Tuesday and Sunday at 9 p.m. Brought to you by MIB Insure.
Switch to MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
All the people who are fans of reggae music, just come out and support Reggae Month. Whatever we're doing, whatever we're keeping, just come out and support us. Because this is Jamaica and this is where reggae is from. So I just want to tell them, say, Sim Simmer, who got the keys to the bimmer? Oh my, real reggae lover, Zaga.
If you love reggae music, come on in, everybody say, hi,
Welcome back to CVM Television's Decision Day 2024 live coverage. We now go live to the Electoral Office of Jamaica with TK Duncans for more information. TK. TK, are you with us?
Thank you so much. So there are no major changes in the Papine division. Darrington Ferguson of the PNP still has 1,768 votes, or 49% of the votes, while Venetia Phillips still has the 50% of the votes for the JLP. Now, if you look behind me, you're going to see that in Frome Westmoreland, PNP has the 1,084, or 62% of the votes, while JLP's has 673, or 38% of the votes, and that is after 69.23% of the boxes have been counted. Now let's look at Wakefield Trelawney. In Trelawney, the JLP has 475 votes, or 50%, as well as the PNP's 475 votes. So in Wakefield Trelawney, we're looking at a 50% split for that region after 37.5% of the boxes have been counted. Let's take a look at one or two more. Let's look at Buff Bay in Portland. Now for Buff Bay, Portland, I'm seeing that the JLP has 46% of the votes, while the PNP has 54% of the votes. And this is after just 7% of the boxes have been counted. So still early days yet for the Buff Bay, Portland division. Let's take a look at one more. Louisville in St. Catherine. So PNP 51% and JLP's 47%. Now we are looking at 5 of the 25, or 20% of the boxes being counted at this time. So we will continue to have as many updates as possible. 72.5% of the boxes overall island-wide have been counted. So we are edging our way closer to 100% count here at the EOJ. We will have live updates for you as soon as we get them. Back to you at the studio.
Thanks so much, TK. We are looking to throw now to Natalia. Do we have Natalia on the line? Are you ready for us?
Yes, I'm hearing you, Stephen. Are you hearing me?
Yes, tell us what's happening on the ground.
All right, so I'm still in St. James. I attempted to go to Trelawney, but there is a shooting incident in James that, of course, required my attention. But still a lot of attention here on the ground. So far, let's start with the numbers. According to past report I got from the EOJ, PNP's Anthony Suwebe has won the Maroon Town division with 1,130 votes. He would have battled with incumbent Everest Coke of the JLP, who won in the 2016 election by a 81 vote margin. Now, more drama, if we could call it that, over in the Catadupa division. I have confirmed reports that an EOJ vehicle transporting ballot boxes were involved in a crash. The update, however, is that there was no serious injury and the boxes were reportedly safely transferred to another electoral vehicle. Now, the candidates for that division are the PNP's Kenroy Gordon, who, based on the latest numbers, is leading, and the JLP's Bernard Clifford. The PNP did have that seat from 2016. My eyes are also, as mentioned earlier, still on the Montego Bay North-East seat as well. This is where the JLP's Charles Sinclair is, and the PNP's Alan Bernard, as mentioned earlier today, was an alleged joint operation with the JCF and the JDF that resulted in one man being fatally shot. The police say he has long been on their radar, and the shooting ensued after they entered the space and he ran for opening fire at the lawman. He was, of course, pronounced dead at hospital. I was on the scene for a while, which was visited by the National Security Minister and the Member of Parliament in St. James. Dr. Horace Chang, heads of the police, were also there providing reassurance. They did, in their releases, say the space was opened in quick time for the election process to continue, but I didn't see that. For a good while, the opening to that specific polling station was closed, and it was also closed by the time I left, so I suspect that would have hindered some people most likely didn't get a chance to vote. I tried reaching out to the director of elections to see if there was an extension regarding what time the polling station closed. I wasn't able to get through, so my eyes are still trained there. And let's see, I'm about to head into some of these spaces, including the South Spring Division, Montego Bay South and North, to see what exactly is happening on the ground, and I have lots more to report.
Okay. Thank you so much, our reporter Natalia Clark over in St. James. It is now back to Nika Lewis at the main desk.
Thanks, Stephen. Now, of course, the discussion gets really intense when it comes to this desk, because we're talking about some of the data we've been getting out of Western Jamaica, particularly in sections of Trelawney. In Duncans, we're hearing that it's early days for us because we cannot confirm all of this, but we have sources indicating that Duncans is clearly leaning now towards the PNP.
Right.
And,
Fabian Davis, they say, would have had one. Duncans, he would have polled 1,476 votes to Donovan White from the JLP, who would have polled 1,288 votes. And Duncans is somewhere we would have expected to see some type of turnout, because we'd have seen heavy campaigning in Trelawney. So that's something that we definitely have to look at as well.
Yeah. Do we have any information on Hanover? Because that's another interesting seat there, because I know last few days the Prime Minister intensified operations down there, and the discussion about Lucy and changing the urban space there, it was quite interesting. So I would love to see if that yielded any results in terms of what are the possible plans for the town centre, which has a terrible traffic problem.
Are surely what we're hoping to be getting more of.
I saw on the map that it was turned, but again, I would want to get some official numbers.
I'm hearing that Papine is closed, and from the EOJ, or reporter there is saying that the numbers are indicating, let us see, with 100% of the boxes counted, 2,113 votes for Ferguson, Darrington Ferguson of the PNP, and Venetia Phillips with 46% at 1,854 votes.
George Planto with 61 votes.
What the votes? What votes? No, I want us to go to numbers. I think we need to look at numbers here.
Well, the numbers are...
No.
Well, just a second. We have to go to the EOJ because TK is on the ground. She just sent us this information. So I know she has a bit of details here for us.
And she can bring up some of Clarendon for us too.
All right. What we'd love to also get from the EOJ is what's happening in Clarendon. It would be lovely to hear about Papine West.
Right.
And we're also anticipating more from what's happening in Trelawney and Westmoreland. TK, are you with us? I know there's a bit of delay.
All right, so we have breaking news. We can confirm that for Papine, Papine has been called with Venetia Phillips, 46% of the votes for the JLP, while Darrington Ferguson, 52% for the PNP with 2,113 votes. So we can confirm officially for the Papine division, it goes to the PNP.
Thank you, TK. I would also mention that... Go ahead.
113 votes, or 52% to the PNP's Darrington Ferguson, 1,854 votes, or 46% to Venetia Phillips. All 44 boxes counted, 100% completion in the Papine division. Papine officially goes to the PNP's Darrington Ferguson, and we'll have our next update as soon as we can.
You know, Tika, I want us to revise and look back at some of the projections that were made and some of the analysis that were cast about Mark Gordon's capacity to lead the PNP through a victory. I think that we're seeing that is false. The people have coalesced around Mark Golding. The People's National Party's base has re-emerged. The People's National Party is ready to take the reins of central government. This is the precursor to national elections coming up.
So, I'm sorry, are you saying that it has been declared for the People's National Party? Because I have not heard that. I have not heard that.
It's just about a couple divisions, Cleveland. We are not there yet.
So again, Cleveland is hoping to bring it home early.
Yeah, let's work with it.
So you may go ahead, Titania.
Yes. So as it relates to the jobs, yes, and not just that. What we find again is that the PNP continues to blame everything on one person. So okay, we have lost the Papine division. However, it's still early. We are still looking at divisions. Again, any political organization that has an interest in winning elections cannot leave all its eggs in one basket. The Papine division and the Trafalgar division in 2016 was won by the People's National Party. Yeah. So those two divisions were not why the Jamaica Labour Party won KSAMC. Let us remember that. So Jamaicans, please note that Trafalgar division and Papine division would have been brighter. We are still looking at what the numbers will be across the KSAMC and what that will be for the Jamaica Labour Party. I would love if we could look at the numbers in Raytown. I would love if we could look at the numbers in St. Andrew West,
Brandon Hill,
and Lawrence Tavern and Red Hills. I would love if we could look at the numbers in Duane Park and Seaview Gardens. Again, what is it that as a political machinery, you cannot say that the Jamaica Labour Party would have only been banking on Papine and Trafalgar. It would have been foolish of us. Yes, we would want to win, but it would have been a foolish strategy.
And I'm thinking, though, although they may not have banked on it and it may have been unwise for them to have banked on it, I think they viewed it as a feather in their cap to have gotten those two to cross.
Yes.
And if you recall, Venetia,
she was a major player. Yeah,
because
in the 2016
in the local government
election. Yeah.
But I think that her being you're
stick
about
a
to
pin in that because we're going to the JLP headquarters. This is the devious table. We're going to the JLP headquarters with Ramon Gordon. Ramon? All right. We're hearing you now.
Got you. It is very strange here at JLP headquarters. The atmosphere is bereft of optimism almost. We're reacting to the polls in the same time and the same space as you have, and what we're seeing here is just confusion, I'd say. Some of the party supporters have left, and those who are still here are huddled together in small circles trying to, well, I'm not going to assume what they're discussing, but it can't be anything good. We're still waiting for party executives to show up here at the JLP headquarters, but for now, no one is here, and hopefully, well, I don't know, it's crazy times here. At least that's what it sounds like coming from the JLP.
No, that is not good reporting. Sorry.
Well, I think, Ramon, that the background says a lot, but it's very early. It's still not a done deal, so to speak. I know the PNP have been celebrating. Cleveland, of course, has been because of what's happened in Trafalgar and Papine especially. So let me come back to the round table.
Yeah. Can we see Raytown and those other divisions that were mentioned?
So the producers are working on that bit of data right now.
Right.
Raytown and Maypen West in particular.
Yeah.
I want Sandre Roden to leave me in peace and not pieces.
I just can't manage the marginalization, at the table, Lloyd. I feel it. But the numbers are showing a trend, and Ramon was really funny just now to say, he's wondering what they're huddled talking about. But of course, it's an election which says to you that one party wins, one party loses. But for now, what we've seen is that in particular spaces, especially when you speak about the feather in the cap of the JLP, you also have to note that there's an independent candidate that once supported the Jamaica Labour Party that was supposed to run for that division. He stole 50-something of those votes. 81 of those votes. Not to mention that based on information, he was one of the major players in Favour Williams getting that seat in 2016, 2020. So, that is a major thing as well. And we have to question and wonder if that didn't hurt the chances of Venetia Phillips would have been, as you'd have said, a turncoat. Not to mention, we look back at Moko and we're wondering now what are the odds for the turncoats in politics? Because at the table, we have all agreed that Carl Samuda is the anomaly we have thought of, but for the most part, Lloyd, we have not seen many turncoats being successful in Jamaican politics. But for now, we see Moko, but we see in Trafalgar it didn't work out for Carrie, and we see in Papine it did not work out for Venetia the way she would have wanted it to.
Well, the thing about turncoats is that if you are caught within a swing, then you're going to be thrown overboard, and this is what happened. Luckily for the Moko candidate, he was flung in the right direction.
He was flung when the swing was swinging.
And it just propelled him over.
I think, though, that I don't know if it's too early to start a post-mortem, and I use those words advisedly, but it seems to me that the JLP underestimated the PNP in this election. There was a certain overconfidence that, based on the 49 situation, that somehow they would have pulled through. And also, we have to be realistic here, and Mr. Holness has a lot of work to do, because quite a few of his MPs were missing in action. And the fact is that many of them had won on his coattails. And one does not get the impression that they did enough work in their respective constituencies.
I have to stop you right there, because we have the official results in for Papine. And Mr. Smith, as you can see, it's all here. It's okay to confirm that Darrington Ferguson of the People's National Party has secured 44 of 44 boxes counted, 2,113 votes over Venetia Phillips, turncoat, representing the Jamaica Labour Party. The margin doesn't seem too massive to me, but you are the critics. 1,854. Well, that is how the numbers have confirmed the victory in Papine.
In 2016, the PNP
You got to be kidding me.
1,108 votes in, and the JLP received 1,931 votes.
So it
I
seems
will
to
leave
be
that
about the same.
on
It's
the
around the
table.
same.
It's around the same. Both parties doing less than the 2016 elections. That's something to look at. If we're supposed to add Mr. Planter's 81 votes, I believe that Benicia would have then secured the number of votes that the JLP received in 2016. So again, going back to the discussion,
Is
Papine, what position is Papine? Because if we add the 81 to the 1,854, again, Cleveland, if it is that your party is targeting somewhere, the numbers need to increase and the votes on the opposition needs to decrease. I don't believe this election, this division is one that you have to say clearly that the work would have been showing in the numbers.
I totally disagree with what Titania would have said a while ago.
Numbers don't lie, though.
No, it's not about the numbers. It's not about the numbers. Clearly, we have here in this particular division a candidate who would have resonated with some PNP supporters. So I am imagining that in that 1,854 that she would have secured, certainly she would have pulled from the PNP's base that she had in 2016 and in 2012. But that the People's National Party put a different candidate and is still able to secure the division signifies that the People's National Party resoundingly has that division locked within its column. And I think that is what is important.
That's what I'm saying.
No, hold on. What is important? No. What is important is to be acknowledged that the overall victory in that division is sufficient. Not that our numbers. You pointed out that because our numbers have declined, that it's not something that should be celebrated.
That's not what I said.
So the panelists from the political parties, I must tell you that that's all the time we have for the attacks, because we're going to a break, and right after this we'll come back to CVM TV's discussion on Decision Day 2024.
For the Jamaica Customs Agency, the JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
8:45.
Get ready to kickstart your investment journey with Express Catering Limited, with bonds starting as low as $100. Express Catering Limited, in partnership with its lead broker Mayberry Investments Limited, has launched their groundbreaking $10 million bond raise initiative, the first of its kind in Jamaica. Contact your investment advisor or visit successwithexpressja.com for more information and to get started today. Enjoy Success with Express.
Codes ready, cash. Money, move. Take a loan, enter to win. Money, move. Win cash, win a bike or a smart TV. Could even win a brand new car. Take a ready cash loan of $80,000 or more between February 19 and April 18, and you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win cash, a TCL Smart TV, AKT bike, or a 2024 Honda Creta. Big money, move.
Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Codes ready, cash. Ready when you are. Big money, move.
Conditions apply.
Doing life can look different for each of us. The journey to our goals starts with saving.
Thanks to our Scotiabank deposit account, we were able to save towards our home faster than we thought possible.
With my Scotiabank deposit account, I was able to finance my business, my passion, and live out my dreams.
My Scotiabank deposit account is my trusted companion, giving me security as I enjoy my golden years.
Trust in our strength. Start a Scotiabank deposit account today and let's do life together.
Me know this as Team Boom.
Flash out.
Onion get chopped.
Shake out.
Pepper get chopped.
Dash out.
Hot it up and spice it up. Mackerel me yourself.
And it's cheap.
Mackerel and dumpling.
Mackerel rundown.
Micro and wise.
Mackerel pita. Mackerel and bread. And curry mackerel.
Paddy chop mackerel me love.
Mackerel to my thing. And my national dish.
Yeah, Kendall are the best thing combo, yeah.
Kendall mackerel, the taste of quality.
My day has come, the race has begun. I've traveled the seas, I've traveled the waters. Once I was weak, now I'm much stronger. I've worked in the sun, look what I've become. I've conquered the beast, now I'm much greater. I've learned from a failure. Dedication, discipline and drive. Seizing every moment that comes up in this life.
What's your story? What's your sign? We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our way. We come alive.
On the next Royal Palm Estate.
You don't understand me. You say you have something to give me, you go for it. When you bring it from now, you push it down in your bosom.
I changed my mind.
You know when you call people name in this country? It's dangerous.
People like who?
Politicians.
Politicians?
What do you have in mind? Sleeping dogs tell no lies. What kind of oxymoron is that, man? What we have to ensure is that we put the superintendent faster to rest.
They're holding him in connection with Daddy's disappearance.
I can't believe what you're telling me.
What you doing here?
Pleased to meet you. I'm Julia Blackburn. Mrs. Julia Blackburn. Oh, what did you say your name was again?
Oh no, Ted, no! Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure. Keep up with the Blackburns. This Tuesday at 9 p.m. Brought to you by MIB Insure.
Switch to MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
Welcome back to CVM TV's Decision Day 2024 special discussion as we get the results. We now go to Andrew Laidley, who is at the PNP's headquarters on Old Hope Road. Andrew?
Thank you very much. So I'm standing on location once again at PNP Headquarters, and I'm here now with Mr. Andrew Swiby. How are you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling happy. Obviously, I would have wanted a better result for at least 21 seats, but the Jamaican people in Kingston and St. Andrew are saying something to us that we need to come together and to run the city in a bipartisan way.
How much are you going to pick up? So when you hit the ground running tomorrow morning, what's the priority for you?
Well, the priority is just to keep our city clean. It is dirty, our current is dirty and it stinks, and I've made no bones about it. It is a situation. So we have to start with that. And then we have to make some assessment to go through, look at the things, make some assessment, and obviously try our best to how we can deal with it.
It's a tie. It's a tie.
So who has the
Thank you very much. Mr. Webby here speaking with me live at the PNP headquarters. As you can see, the people are continuing to stream in their numbers. There's pandemonium, as I've been saying, fanfare and excitement on location. And of course, I'll continue to track the feeling and the vibes here on the ground at PNP HQ. It's back to you in studio for now.
All right, thank you so much, Andrew Lately at the PNP HQ. Now we have some numbers coming in. This is what we're anticipating. As you can see on your screen, Denham Town in Western Kingston, you know, there is no shock right there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's predominantly JLP territory.
Yeah, but it's a strong win
so
for
it's
in
a
the
massive win.
KSMC. Yes, massive win.
We see Jermaine Hyatt from the Jamaica Labour Party securing 2,732 votes to Patricia Taylor of the PNP's 540. But no surprise there. Looking now at Tivoli Gardens, another strong contended seat for the Jamaica Labour Party. I mean, this is no shocker for me, certainly. I'm sure the panelists are saying, where's the news? So we have Donovan Samuels confirmed victory with 3,803 votes. And we also have now his challenger, Anthony Williams. Anthony is a brave man. He went up in a strong JLP bastion. I am not sure, you know, for Almond Town in central Kingston. Let's look at these numbers, Sondre.
You know,
we haven't even touched them yet. I'm just pointing to them. Charmaine Daniels.
But I want to
229, 200, 2,294. So we're going to come back with that when we come back. Because you know we don't want to break on you. So 2,294. Then we have a win now for Jesse James Clark confirmed with 1,691 for the People's National Party to Kari Douglas's 1,021. That's the Trafalgar division. How Trafalgar's battle went down. Almond Town again, that's what you're looking at. Charmaine Daniels from the People's National Party. We have Raytown. Raytown, I hear that is it and applause, but this is massive. This is indicative of something. I don't know what the panelists are going to say, but just give me a chance to tell the people the numbers. If you're watching and you can't see, you're in your kitchen, you're visually impaired. Well, Rosalie Hamilton, 2,182. That's the Jamaica Labour Party's candidate. Last election, she won that division by 1 vote. I hear it coming from Titania, but I want to go.
No.
All right, let me take it.
Yes.
Let me take this one. Norman Gardens. Is this a surprise?
No.
No. So Jacqueline has secured it for the People's National Party. We're going for the next one. I hear this one is big. Springfield, Kingston East, and Port Royal. All right. It's Lorraine Dobson. No surprise. Lawrence Tavern.
Very good. No surprise.
Oh, that's John Myers and Brandon Hill. We've been asking. This is the Weather Vane division.
That is actually quite interesting.
That's not surprising, but it's interesting.
This is quite interesting.
Again.
Right.
Maybe Titania could tell us why
I wonder
it's
if
not
my producers will allow me to take a little interaction from the representatives in studio.
Well, why it's not surprising? I heard that it's not. It's interesting. We both agree it's interesting. Titania said it's not surprising.
No,
so I want to hear that kind of analysis.
No,
I don't want you attacking Titania. So let's give it a time.
Yes. Raytown. Can we go back to Raytown to show everybody the results for Raytown?
Or can we get Raytown for Titania's purposes?
When we are speaking politics for the Jamaican people, we're going to elevate the conversation and speak about numbers. In 2016, Rosalie Hamilton, 1,884 votes. The PNP, 1,883 votes. The Jamaica Labour Party said to the Jamaican people, we're going to target a seat. If you're going to target a seat, my Jamaican people, and we want to care about you, we're going to try to increase the numbers. Now, that is an increase in comparison to 2016. And that is showing a large increase, actually, if you consider Raytown, and where Raytown is, the belly of central Kingston. And
which is
showing,
a strong PNP area.
And showing that Mr. Sean McGregor at 1,801 votes is 1,801 votes is actually showing the average of the PNP votes in Raytown. Well, so I like this result. Again, going back to the numbers, and it is a positive showing.
Well, good for Miss Hamilton. Clearly, she has worked in the division for her to have increased her margin. We're not arguing against that. If she worked and she delivered for the people, and she is that servant for the people, and the people see the kind of delivery, good for her.
We now have some results from Red Hills.
That is it.
We're looking at Red Hills, and we can see where this I'm hearing now, a lot of commentary from the panel. But let me say, this I understand to be a major upset. Young contender who won it
less than 100 votes the last time.
All right, and now we're seeing what looks like multiple hundreds.
Yes, very good.
So this is Rowan Hall. We're going to other results. Malines Gardens, not surprised. Patrick Roberts dominating there for the People's National Party. Payne Lands, the results are coming in. Devon Jackson, and we have Greenwich Town, St. Andrew Southwestern, Carl Blake. No surprise. Sarah Marshall. I see this looks like one of those very dominant seats because this is Mark Golding's place. What would we expect? 39 of 39. Admiral Town. St. Andrew Southern, back to Mark Golding. 3,978. Jesse James Clark, already under the PNP's banner before we came into this election. So it was really just watching to see what would happen next. So can we get some reactions?
Really
Numbers are coming in. I see your excitement.
I want us to get to Mona, but I wanted us to look at Denham Town and Tivoli based on just the numbers that we're seeing, because in Denham Town, the PNP's caretaker, even though losing, got 540 votes. I find that a bit shocking. So people, you have to look at the politics, how the politics is. That's a lot of PNP votes. Look at it. It's 540 for Patricia Taylor, which in comparison to 333 in 2016, which means that there would have been some semblance of increase there, as well as there's an increase from Jermaine Hyatt. And I'm saying that's telling a national story as it relates to both parties waking up their bases to come out. And in the same breath, in Tivoli, we are seeing that the PNP's candidate got 330, while in 2016 they got 217. Which
so
these are areas, right? So these are areas that the PNP don't normally do that well, and they're coming out. And then I've been saying that the switches are not just happening for the People's National Party, they're happening for the Jamaica Labour Party as well, which is very interesting.
I want to take us to the EOJ, where TK Dawkins is capturing what is happening over there. That's the hub, the nucleus on Red Hills Road.
He's lost it already, remember?
Yeah, but that was a...
All right, so I am here with the Director of Elections, Glassball Brown, whose phone is ringing because it's a busy time for him, but I'm just on the ground. We're looking at some results right now, Mr. Brown, and I was just wondering if you could walk us through what we're looking at right now.
What you see on the board, for example, Kingston, 100% in. JLP, 3 division leading in 3, the PNP leading in 3. St. Andrew, PNP leading in 17, JLP leading in 17. St. Thomas, 94.8% of the vote has been counted. JLP leading in 5 division, the PNP in 4. In Portland, 87.6% of the vote has been counted. JLP leading in 6 division, PNP leading in 3. In St. Mary, 93.4% of the votes have been counted. 8 JLP is leading in 8 division, PNP leading in 5 division. St. Anne, the 98.9% of the vote has been counted. The JLP is leading in 11, the PNP in 5. In Trelawney, 96.5% of the votes have been counted. JLP leading in 6, PNP in 3. St. James, 95% have been counted. 11 JLPs leading in 11 division, and the PNP in 6. I need to recheck Hanover. That 95.9% have been counted. It's correct. I need to check back on Hanover. In terms of Westmoreland, 98.2% have been counted. JLP leading in 3, PNP in 11. St. Elizabeth, 99.5 have been counted. JLP is leading in 9 division, PNP in 6. In Manchester, 98.9, PNP is leading. JLP is leading in 3, PNP in 12. And Clarendon, they are now tied at 11 each. 98.9% have been counted. And in St. Catherine, 86.1. JLP is leading in 18 and the PNP is leading in 23.
So based on this information, Mr. Brown, are you able to tell us how many corporations are controlled by each party?
There's some amount of balance that is left to be counted. I won't make a prediction yet. Let's just wait until the final count come in.
All right, so this is the most recent updates from the Electoral Office of Jamaica, and we've heard from the Director of Elections, Mr. Glasspool Brown. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown.
Right. Thank you, TK. So I'm left to ponder the numbers now as to exactly how many of these municipalities the JLP is leading and the PNP is leading in. Because I'm not sure that I got that just now.
The PNP is leading, the JLP is leading in 8 municipalities.
So that's the JLP leading in 8?
Yes.
So far?
Yes.
And the PNP leading in the other?
Yes.
6.
Okay. We haven't heard anything about Portmore.
Yes, I'm eager to hear about Portmore.
And we haven't heard
St.
Mary.
Yes.
Interesting though, on the screen it is showing that St. Mary, the JLP, is leading 7-5, I believe.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting to look at. But do we have the numbers for Mona? Are we seeing that the KSAMC is tied right now?
Yes, it appears that way.
Anybody, I don't know.
Based on that interview,
what
with
would that mean for
minority
the municipality, Professor?
The popular vote. That's what I'm asking. What is the popular vote coming out of Kingston and St. Andrew? Do we have that figure? Can we get that?
Yeah, because that will.
All right,
because
so the
will
producers.
determine the mayor. Because Andrew Swaby sounded as if he was speaking as the mayor. So which means
I
they
have
would have had the
unofficial information that we, the People's National Party, unofficial though, got the popular vote.
This is from the PNP?
From the Kingston and St. Andrew.
They said this is the PNP information.
I did characterize it as unofficial.
If you look at the party headquarters,
Yeah, but, well, yeah.
it tells a story.
It does.
Yes,
it does.
I've been predicting for a while that it would be 8-6, and I know a lot of people would have said that the Jamaica Labour Party would retain the lead as it relates to the amount of municipalities. But right now, what it's saying is that we have a more balanced electorate based on these elections, and it seems as though the Jamaica Labour Party will still come out ahead in those 8, and there are those 6 that the PNP seem to have that type of control in, and that's interesting.
But it also, I think we need to ask ourselves another question. We are at a time where the government of the day control the resources, yet there's no real commanding lead of such at the local government. So is there a question?
All the statement of polls, and we have added them up more than once, and we have 21 seats, and the PNP has 19. So we have retained the KSAMC.
Overall, what are you hearing, though, in terms of the party, the JLP and the PNP?
I don't understand.
Who is leading?
In different parishes. I don't know. No, I've been following island-wide. I'm really just focused on the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation. I spent all day, all evening just focusing on Kingston and St. Andrew, and rightly so. So I can tell you what is the situation in Kingston and St. Andrew.
What's the mood of the party?
The JLP 21 seats. I believe the party right now is just listening and putting the numbers together and ensuring. Yes.
And you tell me if the JLP has won Brandon Hill.
I'm not sure what is out of Brandon Hill as yet. No, we didn't win Papine. Yes, we won Mona.
What about Papine? Let's just get that clear.
I'm not the number. We have won Papine.
You're saying you've won Mona?
We have won Mona.
Dallas, East Road, St. Andrew.
Won it.
Yeah. Kintyre,
we have won.
Gordon Town.
We have one Garden Town.
Mavis Bank.
You're going to go through all of them? We have one. We have one Raytown by a good margin.
Almond Town.
I don't have the figures from Almond Town as yet.
But the word you're giving us is that the JLP has held on
yes, we have 21 seats and the PNP has 19.
Can you tell us about the Hugh and division?
We have won that.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Williams, we're looking up here
And Red Hills, and we have one Red Hills also.
We're looking here, not much activity.
Because as I'm saying, there are people are just listening. There's nothing definitive on radio. The radio has been saying 2020 for the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, so you know that people would be tied to that. But what we are correcting that is wrong. That information is not right. It's not 2020. It's 2119.
Have you heard from the Prime Minister?
Yes.
And what's the word from him?
Well, I can just update the Prime Minister with respect to Kingston and St. Andrew, and the Prime Minister is upbeat about it. I'm very glad that we have won the capital city, and so it's really just the capital city we won.
You seem to be facing a wave across the rest of the island. What went wrong?
I'm not sure. I don't have the figure about the wave. I heard we won St. Mary, we won St. Elizabeth, and we won some other parishes. So I'm not sure what you'd be saying in a wave. I don't have all the figures. I've said I've been very focused on Kingston and St. Andrew, and so I don't know what is happening. Just coming in, I heard that we won St. Mary, won Portland, we won St. Elizabeth, so those are good parishes that we are told. I heard that we have won. And we have won Kingston and St. Andrew.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
You're welcome.
Sure. That was the chairman of the Kingston and St. Andrew.
Right. So that is coming from, well, incumbent mayor of Kingston. He was speaking at the Jamaica Labour Party's HQ on Belmont Road. Titania is bursting with excitement, but I must give you this bit of information. Am I allowed to give them this information? So, coming out of Portmore for the mayoral election.
Yes.
We're not calling it, Sandre.
I'm excited.
How many boxes? I'm waiting. I'm waiting because drum roll. We have the Jamaica Labour Party's Markland Edwards with 5,368 votes, and the People's National Party is the incumbent. He's the mayor going in. He has 7,590 votes.
Of course.
Not sure about what's happening with the independent candidate, Mr. Howard Hamilton.
And the boxes? How many boxes?
We're getting there. I'm saying, take it in bits, guys. I'm trying.
And then we can talk about Portmore after.
So we're going to tackle KSAMC, and then we go to the Sunshine City.
Portmore.
Kingston and St. Andrew. There are two divisions that we would consider Brata. We haven't received them. But we have maintained 2119. And that is party machinery. Of course, we would want more, but I'm happy to hear about East Rural, Dallas, Kintyre, Gordontown, Mavis Bank. Very, very happy to hear that. And the numbers are showing that we are progressively increasing as it relates to the margins between some of these divisions and what the count looks like. Mayor Williams spoke about it. Kingston and St. Andrew, I think we can all agree, is the municipality that everybody was watching. I think even if at the local government level, a party has win or lost, they want KSAMC, and that is good news for the Jamaica Labour Party.
I'm very elated that the People's National Party has been able to retain Portmore municipality. It really underpins a strong legacy of the party in the Sunshine City.
So you're not touching the KSAMC with a stick?
It's quite interesting. I think Titania made a good point when she said that any political party would want the KSAMC, and the Jamaica Labour Party, by what we're seeing, would have taken that. But we are happy that we've been able to keep Portmore municipality, even though we saw a strong contestation from the JLP mayoral candidate. Didn't go too far.
To the table of stalwarts, where I'm no longer being ostracized because they're getting numbers. What do you make of these numbers? Portmore.
Let's talk. To be expected.
Okay.
I've had the opportunity to, observe the municipal council meeting, and there's a strong leadership, I believe, with the mayor and his council. Yes, the non-partisan approach that he takes to the leadership. So I am pleased with the result, I must say. I am concerned about, but it seems as if with retaining, I don't think there will be that push for the parish, which I really think needs more analysis. So,
Professor,
we go there.
if they retain mayorship but they lose the municipality, what does that mean for the parish status of Portmore?
Again, it is a question of by how much. Yes. So I think I think the citizens of Portmore, they have actually said it. If the government listens, they will hear in clear terms that they are not ready for it as yet. Okay. So I don't think that we will see a difference in Portmore in terms of the numbers. You know,
I think too. I am a citizen of Portmore in the Healthshire Division, and Portmore itself, even how it came to be a municipality, you had
the participation
of your community groups, your various citizens associations, and so there was a point in time when you had Mayor Hines, and it was a PNP council, and he was able to do some work, because then you had to deal with the bipartisan approach and so on. So I think if that happens, it is a plus for democracy, but I don't foresee the PNP losing.
I have news. I
have some as well from Portmore.
I am hearing, before I go to Portmore, that the numbers are saying 2020 in Kingston and St. Andrews. So we aren't sure yet, because it is not at 100%, but the numbers are saying 2020. Hence, we are hearing on the People's National Party side from Andrew Swaby saying that they have won, and we're hearing from Jamaica Labour Party that it's 1921. So their numbers might not match up just yet, so we have to wait until we get that 100% from the Electoral Office of Jamaica to see which party really takes the KSAMC. But I want to hear from Portmore, Nika, before you take the break, because I've been talking too long.
Can the producers allow me to take the break just because it's Sandre?
Marginalization, I tell you.
Well, I'm hearing that the numbers are indicating Gregory Park and Southborough will be inching to the JLP's corner. That's what I'm hearing from over there.
What percentage?
I haven't gotten all those details, so we can take
Park is historically JLP.
Yes,
and
there are some strong spaces in Portmore.
Southborough to a lesser extent.
No,
but Southborough with a young, vibrant member of the Generation 2000 G2K, Damara Lawson, leading. That is positive news for the JLP.
As a matter of fact, Southborough was won by the PNP in 2016. So if and as I was saying, it's that conversation I've been having, Lloyd, that even though we've seen where the PNP has picked up, you know, the JLP can be as daunted because they are picking up in some areas that we don't expect them to pick up. So that would be very interesting to see them winning Portmore, because Portmore has been a feather in the PNP's cap to say they have managed to maintain, you know, hold on Portmore and the various divisions and the mayorship, etc. So let's see how it turns out.
Is there any word yet on St. James in terms of
because
St. James, that's where we're asking for some numbers now.
The JLP had the lead, and it maintained the lead in St. James, yes? Yes. Okay, and has that changed?
From this corner, we're trying to get you and your sources in your parties to tell us.
You know, they have more accurate information than us.
So come on.
I think we're waiting on EOJ.
Yes.
We're waiting on the Electoral Office of Jamaica to provide data right now. I think there's a paucity on data at our desk.
Yeah.
I think because you're busy celebrating.
So this is you waiting for data to say exactly where the numbers are trending.
Correct. And again, politics is about numbers. We have to wait until all the ballots are counted.
And in some cases, recounted.
Because remember,
but we don't see I don't see the extent to which there are divisions that we're going to need extensive.
All right, look at this data.
This is
data that you need.
This is it, yes.
This is what EOJ said.
Yes.
Kingston and St. Andrew, This is what they had said. Tie.
Yes.
No, but that's 100%. No.
100%.
That after all the boxes were counted, it seems we're seeing a
That's
tie.
2020, yeah.
It's a tie.
It's a tie. It's 20-20.
Who has the popular vote? That will determine the mayor.
Or what happens at magisterial
all right.
recount.
But let's not forget.
Close margin for magisterial recount. Is there a close margin?
We don't know. That's why I asked.
All right, so let's just dissect what we can be clear on from what we're seeing. So from what we're seeing, we know that it appears there's a tie for the KCMC with 100% votes. So counts. St. Thomas, this is a parish that we should not forget. Last election, there was a
tie. There was a
so
tie.
the young representatives did not remember their maths, but there was a tie in St. Thomas. And let's not forget about the death of a mayor and all of those other developments later on that eventually led to what we have now.
Correct.
Now, we have to watch there because we have some tough contention seats like Cedar Valley, I believe it is called.
White Horses.
And we have White Horses and a few other places that were closely. Landui, don't forget Landui, because we can't rule out any division in St. Thomas right now. And look at those numbers. At 94.8%, it's pretty close. But what we are seeing, I see somebody in them green shirt taking pictures of the screen, but it's 5-4. Just to say, it's unclear as to who is at 5 and who is at 4. So we'll probably have to go to TK at some point for that.
We don't want to go down.
It's JLP and on the right it's PNP.
Yeah, I don't
so
want
we're
us to
talking
go
about
down.
Trelawney as well. Like, you know, I'm from that parish. I'm a little biased when it comes to that parish. Let's see. We're going to go to St. Mary eventually, but let's look 96, 99, 96. We are seeing these numbers in favor of whoever is in this column immediately to my left.
No, I want you guys not to say anything about Clarendon, because I've been saying Clarendon from I came in this studio.
That's not PNP.
Let's not digress. Let's not digress, Sandre. Let's look to the future. What we are seeing is 99.5%. So it is dead heat in Clarendon.
So just to point out, on the left, your immediate on the left it's JLP, on the right it's PNP.
So if we are to go by that math, we are seeing that St. Catherine is trending towards the PNP at 91%.
Yes.
So that's, let's count if we're counting from what we have. So please take note, somebody. So St. Catherine, 23 to 18 in favor of the PNP with 91% of the votes so far. Then 99.5% it's statistical dead heat in Clarendon. It is a tie. Manchester with 100% is for the People's National Party with 12 to 3. Titania, quick one word. No surprise? No surprise? All right, keep that thought. Talk about Clarendon. the place where Sandre will not speak on because he's going to clap back at us. So Clarendon, 11-11. It's a tie.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I've been saying that Clarendon is somewhere to watch. It's in the middle of the country. It is. The seats in Clarendon are normally swing seats and two traditional JLP seats. But when you look at it, you realize that the heat as related to politics in there has been heightened. And we've seen, as I said, in racecourse that was flipped. And there are other divisions that have been flipped. St. Catherine, we have to look at St. Catherine as well, because the PNP picked up. It was 21-20 in 2016, and the PNP picked up to bring it to 23. That means the JLP shed 2 seats in St. Catherine.
Well, it's 91.
Yeah,
so there is still some way to go.
So not early days yet, but
it's still
late,
there's still a chance.
So let's look. What I'm eyeing though, St. Mary, very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
St. Mary, and we have to look at, as you said, St. Thomas.
Don't forget Westmoreland. We've spoken so much about Westmoreland going into this election. 99%, 3 in the JLP's corner, 11 in the PNP's corner.
We did our internal polls, and our internal polls showed us that we were leading in majority of the municipalities in Westmoreland. And I think that what we're seeing here corroborates and substantiates that internal poll that we did.
Despite the turncoats?
Well, you see the results. You see the results, and we are leading. So still, despite the turncoats, like I said, they didn't have an impact.
Papine division.
Yeah.
But do we have the
All right, so we're being asked about results for what the breakdown might look like in Westmoreland, and perhaps Central or Eastern. Wherever we can get it from in Westmoreland at this
and
point.
I think it's balanced
because we're looking at those who went independent to see how many votes they took with them, if at all.
Yes, and I must say in Clarendon, we know Mr. Purcell was a strong contender for the People's National Party, usurped nonetheless because there were some controversies, and now we're seeing where it is a tie. So we'd love to see the breakdown of what some of these parishes look like, but what do you make of these numbers where nobody brave enough to call it? No. Sandra, you are
no, we can't
numbers
call it
man.
yet because we have some if you have somewhere at 91%, that means there's still some things that we have to count. But what I'm seeing and what I've been saying, that's why I went to Denham Town and Tivoli, and even though that's kind of biased, but the point is picking up 540 in a Denham Town says that there is some mobilization on the ground. Is this cause for the Jamaica Labour Party to worry? It is cause, I don't know, is it cause for the Jamaica Labour Party to consider how do they now look at local government? Because now it's obvious.
Is it local government or is it the machinery of the party, whether JLP or PNP?
I would say both things, you know, because I agree with you that the machinery also matters because remember, and I've been saying to people, PNP, they've been campaigning for 3 long years, and that means they have brought out Lloyd the base.
Yeah,
and that is very important to know.
There is something of historical significance here. Because I think there was this bogeyman haunting the JLP to some extent in reflection of the 1980 general election when the PNP was able to win the next local government election and then went on to win the general election. And I think there was some amount of fear in the JLP camp that this may be another
litmus test.
But we must look, for me, this particular local government election has defied a number of political logic because, for example,
it has
usually
dispel a lot of my original thoughts.
A low voter turnout should have favored the incumbent. It has not happened. It has not happened.
It has squared it out.
Is it that many Labourites did not go out and vote? Is that part of the scenario?
Yeah, that's
but wouldn't that be in line with what the polls were suggesting, that among the Jamaica Labour Party, many of their supporters were inclined to not vote?
That's what I'm driving at.
Versus PNPs who were saying, we will contemplate it, which was, you know, someone said it's easier for a Jamaica Labour Party supporter, diehard or whatever you want to call them, to switch and vote PNP than the other way around.
They will stay home. They won't necessarily vote PNP. They will stay home.
We talked about, and Cleveland introduced it,
well,
the leadership
unfortunately,
of
Professor, it's your turn.
marginalized.
Oh, wow.
Only for this break.
I had it candidates on
You feel my pain.
I feel your pain.
We are up on a break.
Pick up on that, Prof.
Yes, when we come back. Thank you. We have two very... When we come back from this break, we'll continue the discussion for Decision Day 2024 here on CVM TV.
Hollywood has never been this good. Catch Made for Each Other weekdays 1 p.m. on your drama station CVM. Brought to you by
On the next Royal Palm Estate.
You don't understand me. You say you have something to give me, you go for it. When you bring it come now, you push it down in your bosom.
I changed my mind.
You know when you call people name in this country? Dangerous.
People like who?
Politicians.
Politicians?
What do you have in mind? Sleeping dogs tell no lies. What kind of oxymoron is that, man? What we have to ensure is that we put the superintendent faster to rest.
You're holding him in connection with Daddy's disappearance.
I can't believe what you're telling me.
What you doing here?
Pleased to meet you. I'm Julia Blackburn. Mrs. Julia Blackburn. Oh, what did you say your name was again?
Oh no, Dad, no!
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure. Keep up with the Blackburns. This Tuesday at 9 p.m. Brought to you by MIB Insurance.
Switch to MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
The race has begun, I've traveled the seas, I've traveled the waters. Once I was weak, now I'm much stronger. I've worked in the sun, look what I've become. I've conquered the beast, now I'm much greater. I've learned from a failure. Dedication, discipline and drive, seizing every moment that comes up in this life.
CVM, see it happen right here.
I think like women just bring some sort of unique kind of energy to anything. I don't even know if it's something that can be described, but we're just so powerful in the way that we kind of persevere. There's a lot of like amazing women PR persons as well, you know, a lot of amazing publicists. You know, there's Destine, there's Tiffany May, you know, just to name a few. And, you know, they're really, you know, some people that I have the pleasure of like having a good rapport with, who have taught me so much, who, you know, kind of provide validation when you need it, because PR is not easy, especially not in this industry. So, you know, those are two of like women that I really, really look up to.
Bless you, bless every breath that you take, yeah. Bless every move that you make so intelligently. And don't forget this month is Reggae Month, yeah. We're inviting you all to come out and support the Reggae Month, alright? And to all the good people who make it happen, enough blessings.
On the next Royal Palm Estate.
You don't understand me. You say you have something to give me, you go for it. When you bring it come now, you push it down in your bosom.
I changed my mind.
You know when you call people name in this country? Dangerous.
People like who?
Politicians.
Politicians?
What do you have in mind? Sleeping dogs tell no lies. What kind of oxymoron is that, man? What we have to ensure is that we put the superintendent faster to rest.
You're holding him in connection with Daddy's disappearance.
I can't believe what you're telling me.
What you doing here?
Pleased to meet you. I'm Julia Blackburn. Mrs. Julia Blackburn. Oh, what did you say your name was again?
Oh no, Dad, no!
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure. Keep up with the Blackburns. this Tuesday at 9 p.m. Brought to you by MIB Insurance.
Switch to MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
Has begun, I've traveled the seas, I've traveled the waters. Once I was weak, now I'm much stronger. I've worked in the sun, look what I've become. I've conquered the beast, now I'm much greater. I've learned from a failure. Dedication, discipline and drive. Seizing every moment that comes up in this life.
All the people who are fans of reggae music, just come out and support Reggae Month. Whatever we're doing, whatever we're keeping, just come out and support us. Because this is Jamaica and this is where reggae is from. So I just want to tell them, say, Sim Simmer, who got the keys to the bimmer? Oh my, real reggae lover, Zaga.
If you love reggae music, come on in and say hi.
What's your story? What's your sign? Dreamers, don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive.
Bollywood has never been this good. Catch Made for Each Other weekdays 1 p.m. on your drama station CVM. Brought to you by
Hyundai Island Conditions apply.
I am the only dog.
But I'm going to fix our business fair, you know. More comfortable. More comfortable for what, Pastor?
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure. Royal Palm Estate is on CVM every Tuesday and Sunday at 9 p.m. Brought to you by MIB Insurance.
Switch to MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
And we welcome you back to CVM's coverage of Decision 2024. We look now at some of the numbers which we have finally coming in. The KSAMC popular vote, the PNP at 64,930 to the JLP's 49,328. We go across to... This determines who is the mayor of Kingston at this time. There's a tie, as reported by the EOJ. And so we go to the popular vote to see what the decision will be and who will be the mayor. Let's look at St. Mary now. Waiting for the numbers to come up. St. Mary Southeastern, we have Matthew Parchment at 781, while Richard Crary, 1,197. And we move across to the round table to ask, what do you think of these numbers?
Well, these numbers are interesting numbers, you know. Crary has won. You know, he was one of the debaters for the Jamaica Labour Party, a strong councillor for them as well. And as we see the numbers in Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal
Before you jump across to Kingston and St. Andrew, the next St. Mary Southeastern, Wayne Campbell, 719, that's Castleton.
Yeah.
Lenford Danvers at 1,066.
Yeah, that's also Dr. Norman Dunn's constituency, I think.
Yes, yes.
And he has proven to be one of those that has taken that constituency at the time. I think he ran against Shane Alexis, and they've consistently proven strong in that constituency. So no surprise there.
We're looking at Belfield, St. Mary Southeastern, Levin Freeman, 1,186, Joseph Robinson, 886.
It's expected.
It's expected, yeah. He's been there for a while, you know.
So nothing strange there at all.
Nothing strange there at all.
Numbers still coming in from St. Mary. Anata Bay, St. Mary Southeastern, Canute Barclay, 1,930 to Hugh Bryant, 2,105. 36 of 37 boxes counted, almost done.
That's Dunn's.
That's still Dunn's area.
Islington, St. Mary Central, Everton Garvey with 1,437.
Islington is traditionally
All the boxes counted. Beating out Dennis Lecky, 1,356.
Close, very, very close.
Very close, and that one goes to the
All things
PNP.
considered.
Port Maria, St. Mary Central, Corinne McDonald at 1,403. Very closely contested. Jermaine Smiley, 1,456. Still two boxes to be counted. So we have a close race to watch in Port Maria.
No, not all the boxes are in. I think it's to be counted.
Hampstead, St. Mary's Central, Vivienne Silvera, 1,016. To Mitzi Hudson, 1,251. Still two more boxes to be counted. Some close races still in St. Mary. Highgate, St. Mary Central, Paul Fife, 1,520. Definitely a win there for the PNP. Clement Clunis at 432. Karen Hall, St. Mary Western, CN Green, 578. Doreen Hutchinson has taken that seat for the JLP, 1,134. All boxes accounted for. Gale, St. Mary Western, Javon Byfield, 1,119, very close race. Jason James at 1,126. That might be a recount. Araka Bessa, St. Mary Western, Ramon Henry with 1,741. No surprise here. To Sheldon Kidd, 1,155. But we still have 4 boxes to come. Bosco Bell, St. Mary Western, Fitzroy Wilson, 1,785 to Leroy Sewell, 1,492. All boxes counted. And we look at this last one in St. Mary Retreat. Melva Humes, 1,128 to Deirdre Moulton, 1,352. Tell us more of what you think of these results.
Well, in the St. Mary seats, the divisions, not major surprise. I think we might see a recount in Gale. I think a lot of work went into Gale from what I'm understanding. I'm from that Western St. Mary. So it's interesting that all evidence show that work went into Gale in particular, and it reaped the reward for the JLP. But I think PNP had done some work, and there's possibly recount for this one.
But several closely contested seats over in St. Mary in general.
Yeah, we have to look at the numbers from 2016 as well. In 2016, the Jamaica Labour Party, who had the swing at the time because they would have won the general elections in February, they won 10 of the seats down there in St. Mary, and the PNP only won 3. So despite the fact that Jamaica Labour Party retains the numbers as it relates to victory of the municipality, I really have to come back to Lloyd's point of whether or not the Jamaica Labour Party's base really came out on election day today and voted for the party that they would have had these huge swelling of crowds across the island for the Prime Minister's visit. And did these people really vote? Because what this is saying to us is that there may have been some Jamaica Labour Party supporters that did not come out and vote for the Jamaica Labour Party, as Lloyd would have suggested earlier, because St. Mary, it was 10-3. Now the numbers are looking close.
Indeed. Lady Helene.
I have some news as it relates to
breaking news.
Portmore Mayorship. At last count, with over 97% counted, the Jamaica Labour Party, Markland Edwards, 1,482 votes at 57%, and the People's National Party, 1,083% with over 97% of the ballots counted.
Okay, so news in there from Portmore, but we still have to wait on the final word
3%
from the EOJ.
Okay.
Lady Helene, your take on the voter turnout. The pollster said it would be capped at 40%. We're hearing that it is a low turnout. We're talking about voter engagement. What is your take on it? How do we go forward?
Well, I'm not surprised at the very low turnout, because it is just more of the same. And especially when you look at the last general elections, and I think we were at the lowest ever voter turnout for a general election at 30%. Yeah. Clearly, that is taking us into a realm where it is clearly a minority of persons who are deciding what actually happens in our country. Yeah. So I'm not surprised at the low turnout at all. But I think part of what we have to look at in terms of, say, a St. Mary, where you had, I think the polls were showing that the JLP had some problems in St. Mary. And so they would have had to do some work in St. Mary. Clearly, whatever work was done paid off, but it is still very close in terms of the numbers. And certainly in one, I'm expecting that you're going to some kind of magisterial recount, because it is so close. And so what is also coming out too, you cannot call, even if you only have a couple of boxes to go, you have to wait, because you're not sure exactly what will come out of those boxes. So that this election is telling us that the party, and it has always been so, I would probably say, that is able to bring out their base is a party that's going to win.
Indeed, indeed.
And so I think that is...
Before we go across the Clarendon, Professor, you have a final point?
So, for me, I also want to question the leadership coming from what Cleveland had stated earlier. So, the Mark Golden factor versus the Andrew Holness factor. It seems as if there is that there is a rise in the capital of Mark Golden. And even when we look at the popular vote, especially across Kingston, and there is a change in the fortunes of the capital of Andrew Holness. What does that mean for the going forward with the general elections? Yes, I think the party central at JLP, there's some eyebrows,
raised right now. We have some breaking news out of Clarendon. I understand that there's a tie. We're going to move across and look at that data just now. So we have some loud talking from the very politically divided desk saying that it's a PNP win. We have Clarendon popular vote saying PNP 27,905 to the JLP 27,567. This is the unofficial count, and the popular vote determines who wins the mayoral seat. Right. All right, but this is the unofficial count, still very close at what? Less than 400 dividing the vote.
Still very close. What I find to be interesting is that in all the municipalities where there is a tie, so far we have seen Kingston, St. Andrew, KSAMC, and Clarendon, the PNP has been able to edge in the popular vote. So I really think that that's quite interesting, that the PNP was able to mobilize and to get people out to vote on the day. It really comes down to mobilization on the day. And I think that this higher voter turnout in terms of the popular vote is demonstrating that.
Right. I'm also hearing that the PNP is also ahead 3,500 in the Portmore mayoral race.
Yes.
So the popular vote seems to be going with the masses as usual.
Yeah.
What more data do we have to discuss after Clarendon and Portmore? We will see. But back over to our discussion table. We've looked at Clarendon, we've looked at St. Mary, we've looked at Portmore, and you inferred a while ago, how does it bode for the general elections with the upswing of the popular vote and the the goodwill that Mr. Golding seems to be gleaning.
Yes.
What is your take from this?
I want to start so they don't cut me off in its break time. But I think this aids in what would have happened over the past 3 years. We would have seen underground campaigning, and the PNP have long been saying, yes, we're underground, so that will transmute to votes actually coming in for them. And that says to you that there is a lot of work for the Jamaica Labour Party to do. And Lloyd was saying it earlier when we were off air, speaking about what Prof. Carl Stone would have spoken about in the past. And a part of it is the fact that administrations that are focusing on governance normally lapse when it comes on to their political work. So by the time you say, oh, I'm going to keep election in 3 weeks, and you go on the ground and the Prime Minister campaigns here, there and everywhere, it does not change the fact that the opposition had enough time to mobilize, they had enough time to ensure that they had all their runners and workers ready. So when it came on to election day, there might be before you come in Cleveland, there might be some glitches that the ruling party may not have had thought of because they did not have that opportunity as well to focus so much so on the political aspect of their party.
I think probably.
Let's take Cleveland's point, and I'll come right back to you, Lady Helene.
No, if the opposition had more time, the opposition never called the election. Remember, we had 4 postponements. Clearly, the government would have had in its mind some kind of timeline or time frame in which it wanted to have the kind of election. The opposition would not have been privy to that kind of information. So to say that the opposition had more time to prepare doesn't make any sense, son.
No. I just to respond to that, I have to vehemently disagree with him because time is time. Even if the governing Jamaica Labour Party would have postponed the elections, the political organization is what we're speaking of. We're not talking about the fact that, oh, they knew when to call it. Knowing when to call it and being politically organized, they aren't the same thing. They're
So before we go back and forth on this point, I'm going to take some more information on it from Lady Helene.
Right.
No, I'm thinking that in terms of the work done by the JLP as against the work done by the PNP. I think one thing that it is showing us is that the JLP underestimated the ability of Mark Golding to unite the party and to actually energize that base. So if you looked over the last couple of years on how they treated with him and so on, I think they are paying the price for underestimating him, and they only woke up, I believe, in the last couple of months when the polls started to show that he was ahead.
Well, on the point of data, before you jump in, we have some more information coming in from the Clarendon Division.
Yes.
So we're going to get back to some of the numbers. All right. As we were saying before, the Clarendon popular vote was on screen just now. We move on to Maypen North Central Clarendon, where Suzette Burrell, 542 to Tannerlee Williams, 1390. The JLP taking that one with a clean sweep, 24 of 24 boxes counted.
That's expected.
That is an expected victory, I'm hearing. Denby Clarendon Central, Cecilia Thomas, 399 to Joel Lawrence Williams, 953, and that is 100% counted as well.
That's expected, but that's a bit low.
Maypen East Central Clarendon, Ideria Scott, 635 to Kenneth Davis, 1135, full count. Carla Watts in Maypen West Central, 1,227 to Lorraine Green Mason, 934. The PNP taking that seat. The PNP also taking Tollgate Clarendon Southwestern, Godfrey George Knight to Radcliffe Anthony MacDonald at the JLP with 1,511. Milk River Clarendon Southwestern, Carlton Bailey, 1,183. Sir J. Foxton, 605 of the JLP, the PNP taking the seat as well. Race Course Clarendon Southwestern, Kijani Norman Johnson, 1,285. Pauline Reynolds has won the seat by 2 votes. 21 of 21 boxes there. We're looking for a recount on this one. Only 2 votes dividing. Mineral Heights Clarendon Southeastern, Shady and Donaldson, 1,880. Claire of Colin Coke, 1,309 with all boxes counted. Rocky Point, Clarendon Southeastern, Yvonne Cynthia Wilson, 1,654. Losing to Winston Lloyd Mirage, 20 2049 there, all votes counted. Mr. Mirage taking that seat for the JLP.
What I want to ask you now, so is there still a tie in the Clarendon municipality?
Well,
what is your data telling you, the sources?
Well, let us check. The question on the floor is there still a tie in the Clarendon municipality? We'll ask our production team to get that data out to us.
Thank you. Thank you.
That you asked because the
I wait on the
information
production.
was that in the racecourse division that Kijana Johnson was leading. Now that Pauline Reynolds has won by 2 votes, that indicates that it should no longer be a tie. So we want to see, because 2 votes, wow, look how
that is a tight one indeed.
Look at
Raytown, what happened in 2016. So we're seeing that, and we want to know. We want to know from the production team. I know Cleveland wants to know. Titania wants to know. I definitely want to know. Yeah, I definitely want to know.
With Pauline's 2-vote lead in the race course, that tilted over, so the JLP is leading that municipality.
And that was 100% of the box.
Yes.
That was one, but 2 votes we're definitely going to be looking at a recount there. So we have some close margins of victory, some recounts to be done.
I'm told that St. Thomas is tied now.
So all things being equal, we're going to wait on the EOJ's data, but we're still going to have some deliberations seemingly after tonight.
Yeah, because the numbers are close. As we said, that 1 vote in 2016 really taught us something about local government elections. And now we're seeing similar things. And I would still have to look at it, that the fact that we have to agree on the point that the parties would have to get their supporters out to vote in these elections. And then we've been talking, Prof, about the independent and how the independent vote goes in. It could be that 1 independent person or that 2 independent person that move the vote to 2 for Ms. Reynolds.
I want to pick up on a point that Mrs. Davis-White would have mentioned, and it's that I really think that the Jamaica Labour Party underestimated the capacity of Mark Golding to take the PNP through an electoral victory and to mobilize the party. When Mark Golding came to the helm of the PNP in 2020, he was hugely unpopular. But when we juxtapose that to now, we find that the People's National Party has largely coalesced around Mark Golding. The divisions that existed in the party in 2020 are no longer there to the degree that they are today. You might have some disputes, and that is evident in any democratic movement. And the People's National Party is a deeply democratic movement that allows people's voices and dissent to be heard.
Hold 1 second. I have to interject. We're hearing we have some corrections in numbers.
Thank you.
So Race Course Clarendon Southwestern. And the John and Norman Johnson, 1295 to Pauline Reynolds is 1,287. So as these numbers get to final,
this is 100%.
This says 21 of 21.
Yes.
So this now has Kijani Norman Johnson of the PNP beating out Pauline Reynolds in Racecourse Clarendon Southwestern.
By 8 votes.
So some close margin, some deliberations to be had.
So the thing is, it's interesting to note how we will be interpreting the results. Again, going to bed, waking up tomorrow, we'll then identify where we are truly at as it relates to the results and what is happening. There are a myriad of responses, but at the end of the day, we need to identify, we must acknowledge that democracy is strong in Jamaica.
Yes. Yes.
Whether we think that the voter turnout is low, yes or no, it is indicative that Jamaicans identify that they do have the power to make decisions. Even when we're looking at some of the divisions that the JLP would have won, some that we didn't consider winning, and also on the PNP side, it is safe to say that a lot of the political space in Jamaica is changing. There's no such thing as a safe seat anymore. And we will have to acknowledge as we move forward and increase our democracy
and
improve. Except for them and Tivoli and Trenchtown. But as we improve our systems, we will have to also improve how people see the political process and participate in that. So much to expect.
I think that's even a more key point.
I think too that we need to commend the Jamaican people, because when you look what has happened tonight, it has created in a real way a balance of power. And albeit that central government has more power in a sense, but at least overall there is now this balance.
Yes.
And I want to also add that the popular vote is a tricky piece of statistic. Parties in the past have not
one election,
but not with the popular vote. So you can't just use the popular vote as the yardstick to say yes, the party is going to win, right? Because in our first past the post system is how the whole thing is delineated. So that has to be looked at. But I think, as I said, the electorate, though low in numbers, must be commended for what has happened, because what it tells us is that nobody knows safe.
Indeed.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this, as you speak about the popular vote, we see this happening across the world. Based on the system of government that exists, the popular vote does not always indicate who will be the leader of the country. And we have said it earlier that, you know, over the years, going back to 2007, the PNP has had, you know, popular support, but, you know, Bruce Golding would have appealed to an independent voter. Now we're going to question, based on the balance that Lloyd just talked about, will the parties be able to get out the independent voter in the next general elections, and how will that independent mind affect where our country goes, whether it's to the JLP or the PNP?
And that's a significant number, you know.
Importantly too, will the JLP be able, between now and when it has the calls it general election, will it be able to motivate most of its supporters as against the PNP? Will it be able to hold on and perhaps look at attracting some independent voters? Because I always go back to the Guru Carl Stone. When you look at both political parties, their base is almost equal.
So the general undertone I'm getting is both political parties need to get out more Jamaicans and engage in the electoral process.
But
to see
it's
any real
also
process
suggesting to
progress.
me that it's not necessarily going to be on issues. It's going to be just on, you know, come to me because party line
and personality
and personality.
So, general and local.
No, but even so, what is coming out of this local? It's suggesting to me.
But I have something to ask you though, Prof. Do you think, you know, you're a local government expert, do you think that the people really voted for the leaders, or do you think some people really voted for the local leaders, meaning the councils that
No, they voted for the party.
They voted for the party.
Party. Party.
It's an interesting that you bring that question. I've heard you in previous commentary, and I think it's broadly accepted in political commentary that the Jamaican electorate is leader-centric. So before the polls, you said, right, well, Mark Golding doesn't have the kind of popularity, so he's unable to pull the base because, you know, the Jamaicans vote in a kind of way where they're leader-centric.
But 61% say they don't know who the leader is.
It's the polls.
That is a significant consideration to take.
The representative.
What I'm underscoring is that you can't dismiss that certainly the leader's effect will have had some sort of influence in how people vote. Just like what Professor Asher would have said.
No, but
that is what I want to underscore for Sanjay.
I'm glad I'm glad he put it over to me, because what I've been speaking about is the numbers that we've been seeing in the polls. And I can still confidently say that the polls indicate that the Prime Minister of Jamaica is still the most popular politician, and it also indicates that Mark Golding is still not as popular as Lisa Hanna and Damian Crawford. That's just facts. That's the polls.
Do they indicate that he's gaining ground?
And it does not indicate that Mark Golding is necessarily gaining ground, but remember, we said it here that it is, Prof said it, it's a matter of voting for parties. Lloyd said it. Lloyd said he believes that the Jamaica Labour Party didn't get to engage their base enough to bring them out, which means that even if Mark is popular, unpopular, there is still a narrative of this type of party support, how you drum it up and how you pull people out, because what it says is the Prime Minister can continue to be popular, and I said it this morning, you can have all the popularity in the world, but if that popularity does not equal to the person going in the polling station, marking the X and dipping their finger in the ink, then that does not translate.
I think too that talking about Mark Golding and the popularity versus Golding, organization is critical, and we have to give a little commendation to the General Secretary of the People's National Party, because he would have been the one in charge of the machinery.
And it's a local election.
And it's a local election.
Indeed.
What can I say though? I find, okay, again, going back to how people treat polls. If it sways in your favor, then it makes sense. If it doesn't, then it doesn't make sense.
A poll is a poll.
The truth is, the polls did say that 61% of Jamaicans don't know who Mark Jefferson Golding is. That's what the poll says. Coming on set and saying it was Mark Jefferson Golding that won the election.
I can't agree with
is contrary to what the poll said.
Which is the point I'm making.
That's how it sounded.
I think we can agree to this.
Nobody said that. You said the leader had an influence in effect. That's what he said.
Back to the point of the election machinery and the importance of it.
I want to get into that point because I was of the belief that the JLP would have done more in Westmoreland, and I've said I've watched it, and because of those who have switched, I believe that they probably could have taken up some more seats. But that says something, as you spoke about the General Secretary of the PNP, that he got his Westmoreland Eastern sweep.
Exactly.
And that says that he must have been organized in his seat, but not only that, the organization across the board, which is what I'm saying about 3 years. When you get 3 years to properly organize, no matter how long you hear that elections are postponed, and if the ruling party has the power to call it, Carl Stone shows us in his book that you could have had the power to call it from now till next year. It depends on the organization and if you get the people out.
Do we have any updates on any other numbers?
Before you jump out to the other numbers, early in the program, you said where the West goes, the rest goes. How have the numbers borne out your belief?
Hanover,
Westmoreland, St. James's,
in between. I don't know about Trelawney.
Trelawney is
retained by the Jamaica Party.
So it's sort of, you know.
So I'm hearing that it's 4-4 in St. Thomas, one tied and one is still counting.
Yes.
So still some finalization of numbers to be had there. But so Westmoreland is doing what you expected to do.
Yeah, but one has to bear in mind though that the West was totally devastated by the JLP in 2020 in terms of the general election. So the fact that the PNP is now being able to pick up a few more of the divisions that it lost is also an indication that there is a trend. And in politics, trends do matter.
Indeed, indeed.
Right?
Indeed.
And I think trend attributed to the party.
I want to speak
before you jump in. I have to give Lady Helene the court.
I think if we remember too, Westmoreland was held tightly by the PNP, and a lot of persons were surprised at how well the JLP did the last time around. But it seemed that people were, in fact, PNP people.
Indeed.
And they have come back home. And so this is why I think it vindicates some of what the General Secretary has been saying.
About his internal polls.
The internal polls and doing the work in the divisions, because it's the divisions that count and so on. So the reality is that if we're looking at, the various seats and so on, this election is going to end up to be close in terms of which party controls which number of seats. It's close.
Very close.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect us to win.
The resource and the chance.
In these divisions in local government. So if let's take St. Thomas, yes, with the horridly, and I have to say this because the way they went about the South Coast Highway, the funds that were expended and the time, and it was horrid at the last minute. The result did not support the resource placed there. Even in St. James, where you have those developments taking place, I don't think the result reflect the spend. And so again, one will have to say, is it the machinery? Is it the citizens saying, look, you could spend till you're blue, these are my concerns?
Or is it that there's no one formula?
All
it's a combination of
politics
both.
in the final analysis is local. And in St. James, I can specifically say that one of the reasons why there may have been some amount of shift is that the crime factor in St. James, because unfortunately St. James continues to be the parish that has the highest number of homicides in the island. And so despite tourism doing very well, despite all the wonderful things that the JLP has been doing, new fire station, Harmony Park, and I could go on, there is still that residual feeling among the general citizenry that not enough is not being done.
For crime.
For crime, and there's a fear factor as well, which may also explain the voter turnout in real terms.
Yeah, I want to go back to that idea of what would have happened post-pandemic across the world. Post-pandemic across the world, we've seen where citizens have moved away from incumbent governments for many reasons. And a part of it is just feeling as though, you know, the different restrictions that were imposed just felt like prison. Like I was at home, I had to wear masks, etc. Now, the JLP called the election 2020, and that, you know, showed the majority, but, you know, people stayed home. Now, I can say to you that seeing that sentiment, you know, inflation, etc., all those other things coming together, it is not surprising as well that we see the balancing out, because no matter how many goodies you can come with, that sentiment of people not necessarily being as happy because certain things that have happened have to be accounted for when we're looking at analyzing elections in a general front. So when you look at economics and you look at the fact that, yes, the economy is doing well, unemployment is low, these are good things, but a normal, regular Jamaican, and something that the government will have to look at carefully, will ask the question of inflation.
Indeed.
And the inflation question, as I said it earlier to somebody, that it is not a local issue, you know. It's an international issue, because the entire world is suffering from really high inflation. But then the government now has an issue on hand to say, how can we aid in this area as it relates to the people?
So are you saying that money can't buy me love?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying to you.
We're going before you jump in, we're going to go quickly to a break. We have to go and pay some of the bills. We'll be right back to Decision 2024 discussions right after this.
On the next Royal Palm Estate.
I understand you. You say you have something to give me, you go feel. When you bring it from now, you push it down in your bosom.
I changed my mind.
You know when you call people name in this country? It's dangerous.
People like who?
Politicians.
Politicians?
What do you have in mind? Sleeping dogs tell no lies. What kind of oxymoron is that, man? What we have to ensure is that we put the superintendent faster to rest.
They're holding him in connection with Daddy's disappearance.
I can't believe what you're telling me.
What you doing here? Pleased to meet you. I'm Julia Blackburn. Mrs. Julia Blackburn. Oh, what did you say your name was again?
Oh no, Ted, no!
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure. Keep up with the Blackburns. This Tuesday at 9 p.m. Brought to you by MIB Insure.
Switch to MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
Bollywood has never been this good. Catch Made for Each Other weekdays 1 p.m. on your drama station CVM. Brought to you by
Hyundai. Conditions apply.
CVM, how it go now? You know, it's a girl one winding machine. I'm here present for Ono. Yeah, see it happen. Yeah.
Bree Hall may inherit half her strength. Bree Hall, aka Smartest of Beauty, is a YouTuber slash influencer who I have been following for years now. She's a very talented black woman, and I believe that she should get her credit for all the hard work that she has been doing. She's an artist, she sings, she does cosplay, fashion, all of that, and it's inspired me as an individual who also has a lot of talent to pursue all of them at once, because you know, society thinks that if you're doing one thing, then you don't need to be doing like a whole bunch of things. But I think God wouldn't give you like a bunch of talents if he didn't want you to use them. So I think that she has been really inspiring, because despite the odds, she kept doing what she had to. She kept creating content, she kept showing up for herself, and I think that's very important, especially as a young black woman.
That is my life. For reggae is the heartbeat of a people.
Begun, I've traveled the seas, I've traveled the waters. Once I was weak, now I'm much stronger. I've worked in the sun, look what I've become. I've conquered the beast, now I'm much greater. I've learned from a failure. Dedication, discipline and drive, seizing every moment that comes up in this life. Come, the race has begun. I've traveled the seas, I've traveled the waters. Once I was weak, now I'm much stronger. I've worked in the sun, look what I've become. I've conquered the beast, now I'm much greater. I've learned from a failure. Dedication, discipline and drive, seizing every moment that comes up in this life.
Welcome back to CVM's coverage of Decision 2024. We go now to some more data. We have Jason Cummings versus Anthony Murray in Rose Hall, St. James, East Central. And the JLP has taken the seat 1,672 to 1,201 with all boxes counted. That is an expected result in St. James. Somerton, St. James, East Central, Michael Allen versus Mark McGann, 1,600 to the PNP for 1,534. This is an upset. I'm hearing from the round table former Edmund Bartlett seat. Springmount, St. James, East Central, Jodian Colomathi, 1,211 to Uvel Graham, 1,304, 33. Boxes counted. Alan Bernard versus Charles Sinclair. We already know this result. 1,368. Mr. Sinclair, former mayor. Montego Bay Central, St. James Northwestern, Ronald Anglin Jr. Joshua Cummings resting the seat from him. 1,283. Boxes counted 100%. Montego Bay North, St. James Northwestern, Ronaldo Jackson. Donnie J. Maria, Alan Thompson, 951. To the PNP's 387 of Ronaldo Jackson. Expected result there. St. James Northwestern, Andrew Henry to Damian Brown. Damian Brown winning this count, 456. 8 of 8 boxes counted. Small division. Gordon Baldy to Richard Vernon of the JLP, 1,016. He's the deputy mayor, and that is a full count. Expected result there. Lancel Stewart in St. James Central to Arthur Lynch. Interesting, comes the cry from the JLP. 1,386 with 100% of boxes counted. Arthur Lynch taking that division. Sylvan Reed of the PNP, 1,000 to Gregory Anthony Harris, 1,237. Still 2 boxes to be counted here. At 237, is trying to make a comeback after being expelled. Kerry Thomas of the PNP to Rena Forbes. This is an upset. 1,259 with all boxes counted. over 100 votes differentiating them. Michael Troop, 1,673, never in doubt, beating Jovian Carr, 919. No surprise there. Warren Murray to Dwight Omar Crawford. Dwight Crawford winning here, 1,592 to 944. 3 more boxes to be counted. They're still leading. Reddington McIntyre, 1,306 to Javan Baker's 1,393. This is a final count. Expected win. Martin Kellier beating out Gregory Wint, 948 to 845.
This is an upset.
We have an upset. Anthony Swaby, 1130 to Evers Coke, 1,092, with all boxes represented. The PNP taking that seat in St. James Southern. Katadupa, Kenroy Gordon, 1,532 to Clifford Bernard, 1153. 29 of 29 boxes counted. What do you think of these numbers coming out of St. James from the very animated desk?
So the St. James numbers, very interesting. Some numbers that we didn't expect to go the other side is doing so, but also we are seeing the very close margins. Why I wanted to highlight the numbers, and this is strictly from a socio background, for the Linford, I believe his name is, the council representative that lost for the PNP, sorry. It is because of how he would have been placed in that position and the compromising information that came. And to still receive 800 and something, I think the sociologist in me wants to go back and see what is it that our people truly believe in. Separate and apart from that, though, St. James, we do have some seats to watch. And we have to look at, again, how the West was won. We're seeing that St. James is in the winning column for the JLP, but still, those divisions are telling, and it's something that we have to go back to the table and observe and see how we can move forward.
Some very closely contested seats indeed.
Yes.
What is your take on it?
Right, it's really interesting. For me personally, I always thought that certainly coming out of 2020, St. James had a strong GLP leaning. To see that we have been able to carve out some divisions in St. James is good for us. I think that we are seeing that majority of the divisions are heading to the Jamaica Labour Party. So they're interesting. We see some that are very close, some where some boxes are remaining to be counted. So I think we should look at that.
But historically, the PNP has been highly favored in the West. How do you think they can reclaim some of this ground?
The same kind of strategy that we have employed in Westmoreland and in Hanover to regain those divisions, I think is the same kind of strategy that we need to employ in St. James, where we go division by division, we get the kind of political mobilization and machinery re-energized. What we did to win Hanover and Westmoreland in the way that we have is that, as you'd have heard our GenSec exposed beautifully, we established targets within the respective divisions. So we say, first, to win this division, we will need this number of votes. So what we do is that we set targets and then we work to meet those targets. We get the candidates out, we get them engaging with the people. So I think similar, that kind of strategy might be needed in St. James with a greater degree of vigor, because St. James does have a GLP lead.
So we come back to this common thread that we've been discussing all night. We need more engagement. We need to re-engage with some of the voting population.
I think what will help on the Jamaica Labour Party side, it is going to be very, very interesting to watch who will be the mayoral candidate for St. James. That will help to, I believe we have absolutely amazing candidates for St. James at the local government level. I think if we can replicate with youth and experience what we do at St. James and the other parishes.
Are you referring to Richard Vernon?
We're Richard Vernon, Dwight Debo Crawford. We do have Senator Charles Sinclair is still there. And so it's a very good mix of young people and workers. And if we can, I think once we get that mayoral candidate right, it will be us.
Do you think the party can really go back to Charles Sinclair after dispatching him last time?
So Charles Sinclair, as it relates to being at the municipal level, I think oftentimes when we look at local government, we think there are people who are not very political or involved in the political movement. St. James has demonstrated that they can have young people, they can have mature political stalwarts at the local government level, and that is something we need to replicate throughout the parishes, because I think it's working. And so the next mayoral candidate, I believe, on the Jamaica Labour Party side, will see us securing even further for the general elections, because I'm confident that the mayoral candidate for St. James will be a good one.
Sounds good.
I think Richard Vernon has shown, as a young politician, some very excellent qualities. Also, he has a tremendous grasp of local government.
Yes, he does.
You know, so I will agree with you there. Of course, what I was looking at, though, is what's happening in South St. James. Because, about 3 divisions the PNP has taken back from Homer Davis, Maroon Town, Catadupa was the person there was expelled, and which is the other one? There are about 3 of them that McGann, McGann lost, but that's Ed Bartlett's, and also Somerton. So Bartlett lost 2 there. So, you know, there were
But remember, before the 2020 elections, South St. James was in the PNP's column. So it is, I would like to say this is a pulse, and it is okay for us to now be in the middle to identify how we're going to move forward. Javin Baker winning Granville Division is a big win, because Granville is where the current Member of Parliament used to operate for his division, and that's where he was the local government candidate. So it's all is not lost, and I think, again, because 2016 they would have won that seat, it's okay for us to be in the middle and assess how we're going to be moving forward. And winning Granville is the first big step to that.
Granville, what Granville? You mean Granville as in Michael Troop?
No, Cambridge, sorry. Cambridge. That's Cambridge.
But that was Homer Davis.
That's Cambridge.
Because Homer Davis was once the councillor for Cambridge.
Yes, so he was, and I'm saying Javin won.
Right, so we
still
have to give kudos to Javin Baker for winning in Southern St. James. Why? Because obviously the tide has shifted, not by great majority, but by the majority of the seats. Right, by majority of the seats in the division, you would have seen where Southern St. James now has majority PNP support in the respective
And it's going to be an interesting situation, you know, because the candidate, the constituency candidate, Nikisha, Birchall, you know, that's going to be an interesting situation
now
there.
There's going to be, you know, that support, you know, they're going to feel that support now on the PNP side. And because St. James Southern has traditionally been a seat for the People's National Party, the Jamaica Labour Party will have to fight tooth and nail if they want to retain that at a general elections. And obviously, their strong support is coming from where Javin Baker is, because he has retained that division for the Jamaica Labour Party.
As I said, our democracy is still alive and well in Jamaica, and it is good to see.
Indeed, indeed.
Do we have any
We are going to move quickly across to what the map looks like and look at the parish results. Starting with St. Thomas. We do not have the full results for St. Thomas as yet. We're waiting on the final results for them. We move over to the KSAMC, which seems to be under the control of the People's National Party. We move next to St. Catherine and St. the same under the PNP. Clarendon the same.
Manchester.
There's a tie in Clarendon, but the popular vote seems to be giving the win to the PNP. We move over to Manchester. They retain, the PNP still retains it. St. Elizabeth, all green there, retaining that parish. Westmoreland and Hanover under the firm grip of the PNP, as we predicted. St. James and pretty much all of the north, we're looking green. Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, all the way over to Portland, still in the firm grip of the Jamaica Labour Party. So we're seeing some balance. St. Thomas up in question. And this bodes well for a democracy, as we were saying before. We're seeing a better balance of power, which is good for the people and for the leadership of the nation.
Well, I mean, let's see how resources then gets distributed. Yes? And let's see, is this questioning the position of Desmond McKenzie, the Minister of Local Government? So whilst we're seeing, yes, there might be a balancing power, I think within the JLP, they have to ask themselves a question. Come tomorrow morning, how do we look at the distribution of resources if we are going to retain state power? And, you know, Desmond being the Minister of Local Government, which would have, of course, have the responsibility to ensure that we retain local government, is this now questioning his abilities in there? So
the argument could be made, though, that you want this kind of balance and to and fro and not a overhanded, one-sided approach to the spend.
You know, and I agree with you that that's a very strong argument, and an independent mind would have that argument, and many independents would have been saying that, listen, you know, Jamaica Labour Party seems to be confident going into this election, but many people are like, we are not so comfortable about 49-14. So, of course, some people would have been minded to come out and drum up support against an incumbent government. And that's normally the case, as we keep on saying that Jamaican people tend to vote out governments and not really vote in governments. But we also have to look at the fact that now, based on what we're seeing, the JLP has seemed to retain about 7 so far, and we're unsure of a couple. But that says that they have retained their strong parishes, but it's also showing that there's now that balance of power that you'd have spoken of earlier.
And I'm concerned about resources, as the good doctor was mentioning, because for me, it ought not to be the minister who determines.
I raised it for that.
As if it's this little fiefdom.
Exactly.
You know, it ought not to be that. There has to be some structural legislative procedure which ensures
Local Governance Act of 2016,
which ensures that every
which has not been
municipal corporation is treated equally regardless of which party is in power.
So
that structure doesn't exist.
You raised a point, Prof, early in the program that not many of us Jamaicans know what the local government elections actually are about. And it's about who represents you, how the money is spent, how do you get action. So I think this is pretty much along that same vein.
But I think part of the problem with this Minister of Local Government is a very activist minister. And you would have heard councillors, even from the JLP, complain that, you know, a lot of the attention is on the minister and not the work being done in the councils by the councillors. And I think it went against the grain of the Local Governance Act and the whole reform process in terms of how the minister operated. And I think what you would have heard the complaints from the PNP about the lack of regulations. I heard a response from the minister that I just can't fathom, because he's saying that, you know, the old regulations are still there. Regulations are regulations to an act. So if you have new act, you should have new regulations to be able to properly implement that act. So you would have new act, but you're operating under an old. You understand? So that says to me that his understanding of the process, I mean, has to be limited. And I think if, in fact, the JLP is to, because right here now you're looking at almost even Stevens, if they are to build on what is here to move forward, they will have to do some of the work that needs to be done to ensure that the reform process, which included the participation of the people, because the reform committee went out into parishes and had their consultation, and people decided what it is that they would want. So I'm thinking that you don't go against that. You need to build on that. And especially if you're talking about involving persons more and letting them understand. Because that's one of the reasons why the new act is not local government, you know, it's local governance.
Indeed.
Because that's what it was about. Ensuring that people at the local level understood that they have a responsibility in the terms of being able to make decisions about things that affect them directly. And I think we need to get to that if, in fact, we are going to realize any gain from that reform process. So some work has to be done.
Which means that the PDCs, the Parish Development Committees, the CD, the Community Development, these must be empowered and put right back in the face of the municipal corporation.
You make an excellent point.
Many conversations to be had, but I want to ask a question before we get to our wrap. How do you think this map that we have up compares present day to the previous results?
Well,
what do you see? Where do you see the changes? What do you think the implications are?
All right, so the previous results had JLP 8, PNP 4, and there was one tie, and that tie, of course, was St. Thomas. The anticipation or well, what we've seen from the results in St. Thomas is that it may lean or go to the Jamaica Labour Party, which, as I've been saying this for the past week or two, it's looking like 8-6. And we more or less will see a 8-6, and it would be going to the governing Jamaica Labour Party. But what this also says, based on popular vote, is that it's a wake-up call for the government of the day. You'd have spoken about the local government minister, but I dare say that local government minister has probably the most experience at the local government level, which means that these issues should be near and dear to him, And this means that the government, and I think Jamaica as a whole, want to have that understanding that local government, I know Prof will agree with me, is absolutely important. And I'm not talking about the politics of it. I'm talking about just the fact that everybody needs to know their councillors. We need to know the mayor. The polls showed us that the local governance, local government at the very core, the knowledge of it, the understanding, the mere civic engagement, it needs to be increased.
You talk about civic engagement because so many people say they're disconnected from the political process. So many people say they're apolitical. How do you get that civic engagement to come back into being? Because it's not taught in many places. But before you jump to it, I'm hearing in my ear that we have a live link with the AOJ with some more information. We're going to TK Dawkins right now over at the AOJ. TK.
All right, so here we are still at the Electoral Office of Jamaica. I have the Director of Elections with me, but before I come to you, Mr. Brown, preliminary count, the KSAMC JLP, with 50,254, PNP 64,930 of the popular votes. Of course, again, preliminary numbers now. So, you know, Mr. Brown, of course, we are still counting. We have confirmations coming in, but is there anything that you'd be able to call at this time based on the information that you have right now?
Well, these are preliminary numbers, so we're not going to call anything yet. And we are waiting the final count, and the final count will begin up tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. I know, for example, that we are seeing behind us some numbers with Portmore, specific to Portmore. Are there any updates on the Portmore municipality at this time?
We continue to tally the numbers for that. I can't give you an exact figure now, but by tomorrow morning we'll be able to release a further figure for Portmore.
All right, so further figures to come tomorrow, confirmed figures to come tomorrow. We still monitor. We'll be here with you, Mr. Brown. We'll be keeping your company as the counts are being done. So more from the EOJ as soon as we can.
Thanks so much, TK Dawkins over at the EOJ. So we're going to wrap up now. We need some final thoughts from you. We know we've been talking about people being more engaged. We know we've been talking about the balance of power, and that the 6 to 8 predictions were there. What are your final thoughts on the day's happenings? And we'll go around the table in turn. Lady Helene.
Well, for me, I think the day went as expected. Low voter turnout. I didn't expect, although the polls were saying 40, nearing 40, I didn't expect anything near that. So I think it went as I expected. However, the results, I think, are positive results for Jamaica. in terms of our governance systems, because you have almost an even split across the country. I think the JLP has some work to do if they are to get back to the kind of place they were before, and the PNP has work to do to solidify and ensure that they hold on to what they have and get more if they are going to win the general elections, which we expect. I don't expect that they'll be called very soon, seeing that the local government is so close. And so I think we may have another year or so before we have a general election, and there's work, therefore, to be done by both parties.
Lots more work to be done as we come around.
I think this has been a wake-up call for the Holness administration. At the same time, the results have given a fillip to the Mark Golding-led PNP. And I think overall, this, when you juxtapose those two elements, it means that our democracy is alive and well. It's in a healthy state. Unfortunately, we are still having voter apathy. One has to make an appeal, therefore, to the general citizenry to get more involved in the local government process, because it is critical for them to do so, and not just to sit back and wait for another local government election to jump on the bandwagon and then that's it.
Indeed.
You know, so let's hope that this has been a learning curve for Mr. Holness as well as Mr. Golding, and that we will see in the months to come a greater level of responsiveness coming from the Holness administration, not taking anything for granted. You know?
Stay on your toes.
Yes.
Prof?
Yeah. Well, I'm encouraged. I think the discussion about local government and the duties and responsibilities of local government has moved the needle slightly to, you know, in a positive direction. And I'm encouraged by that, encouraged by the number of young persons involved in local government on both sides. What I do want to see going forward is the greater engagement by these elected councillors with the public. And very clear responsibility, job description, whatever you want to say, so that we can hold them accountable. Because we do need, as a society, need to hold our elected representatives accountable in terms of how they spend and what they do with the resource. It's not theirs to give. It is our taxpayer money that help to support what they do, and that needs to be acknowledged.
Indeed. Sandre.
A common thread that we've had over the conversation about local government has been the nature of financing, how it's financed, and how it is local representatives get to represent their people. We not only want to see local government representatives being present and actually being known to the people so they can represent the issues, but we also have to figure out on both sides, because now we see the even split, how it is that the lobbying to central government goes to ensure that the funding for local government, so when we have the conversations about market issues, the conversations about parochial roads, that the funding is there to support the initiatives that these municipalities want. And when we get to that place, I think people will be more interested, and I think as well the councils can get to do more, and that's something that we want to see across Jamaica, and that means prioritizing local government and not just making it a bastard child of the general elections.
Indeed, indeed. So we have many comments from the round table. We're going to go across to this very animated yellow and green table for their final thoughts as well.
Yellow.
For the orange and green table. And tell us, Titania?
I am confident that we as a people believe in democracy. While the voter turnout was low, it was higher than 2016, and a win is a win for me, and that is a win for the Jamaican people. As we move forward, I believe that the Jamaica Labour Party will continue to identify unique ways to represent the people of Jamaica. And as for any election, it is important for us to learn and for us to grow. And I believe that will happen moving into the next cycle.
Sounds good. Mr. G.
The People's National Party believes that local government has to be significantly enhanced to ensure that it delivers for the people of Jamaica. Local government is the first responder in our system of governance. And we believe that there has to be far greater degree of citizen participation and involvement. And that is why a PNP-led municipality coming out of this election will revitalize, re-energize the community development committees, the parish development committees. We think that local government must also play a role in ensuring that communities are healthy. And that is why we are going to look at restoring the health boards within the operational responsibility of the municipal corporations. We're going to build out health infrastructure at the local community. But access and accountability is very important at municipality level. And we think that it is in that regard that PNP-led municipalities will begin to have far greater press conferences. We're going to make public our financial records so that you can assess what we have spent against targets, so you can hold us accountable. And then we have a new vision for local government where we are going to entrench in the Constitution, where we're going to ensure that we entrench in the Constitution a period within which local government elections must be had, 4-year term, etc. And we're going to ensure that there's far more effective garbage collection and waste management. And we're going to regulate entertainment properly and develop economic models at the local level.
Thank you so much, Cleveland Tomlinson there. And as we close out our coverage of the Decision 2024, we want to thank all of our esteemed panelists, from our professors and our trade unionists, and our very animated guests from the green and orange teams for their animated discussion. All the reporters out in the streets, we want to thank you for staying with us while we have covered and brought the numbers to you. We still have votes to be counted. The EOJ has yet to come in with their final data, but stay tuned to CVM TV as we bring you all the latest data today into tomorrow. Good night.
Royal Palm Estate.
You don't understand me. You say you have something to give me, you go pay. When you bring it come now, you push it down in your bosom.
I changed my mind.
You know when you call people name in this country? It's dangerous.
People like who?
Politicians.
Politicians?
What do you have in mind? Sleeping dogs tell no lies. What kind of oxymoron is that, man? What we have to ensure is that we put the superintendent faster to rest.
They're holding him in connection with Daddy's disappearance.
I can't believe what you're telling me.
What you doing here?
Pleased to meet you. I'm Julia Blackburn. Mrs. Julia Blackburn. Oh, what did you say your name was again?
Oh no, Dad, no!
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure. Keep up with the Blackburns. This Tuesday at 9 p.m. Brought to you by MIB Insurance.
Switch to MIBinsure.com today and save serious money.
What's your story? What's your sign? Dreamers, don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive.
My day has come, the race has begun. I've traveled the seas, I've traveled the waters. Once I I was weak, now I'm much stronger. I've worked in the sun, look what I've become. I've conquered the beast, now I'm much greater. I've learned from a failure. Dedication, discipline and drive, seizing every moment that comes up in this life.
I said this one dedicated to you. 11 and 11 daughter, 22. Many are called, but the chosen are few. Them say you must bite where you know you can chew. A Peter Methodist endorsing the reggae month. You hear?
If you don't bring the music up on the head, when they say, are you ready?
Greeting today is to Rita Marlin. May I inherit half her strength. When I first started working in the creative space, I worked on the Smile Jamaica Africa Unite concert that was being staged in Jamaica. And by virtue of that project, I found out a lot about her work in philanthropy, just supporting youths, and just how she as an individual would empower those who are working with her. I just find that she seems to be family oriented and focused on her works and just focused on doing the best that she can do for her family as well as the African nation. I find that to be exemplary and much respect.
Reggae Month 2024, ooh, the shape I'm in. Would you believe I've won this race again? Bless!
If you don't bring the music up on the head, when they say, are you
Greeting today is to Rita Marlin. May I inherit half her strength. When I first started working in the creative space, I worked on the Smile Jamaica Africa Unite concert that was being staged in Jamaica. And by virtue of that project, I found out a lot about her work in philanthropy, just supporting youths, and just how she as an individual would empower those who are working with her. I just find that she seems to be family oriented and focused on her works and just focused on doing the best that she can do for her family as well as the African nation. I find that to be exemplary and much respect.
That is my life. For reggae is the heartbeat of a people.
Arsene Wenger, the quiet, intelligent Frenchman.
The club gave me a chance when I was nobody.
Arsenal high on confidence and with the added incentive of impressing the new boss. This is Ian Wright, and you can guess the rest. Anything appears possible for the new boss, Arsene Wenger.
I found the values at this club that I like in the game.
I cannot say I raised a lot of enthusiasm when I arrived.
How much are the players looking forward to Arsene Wenger?